Kelly from Cards by Christine. I am here. If you were on earlier, Chris was doing the August showcase. She said I may or may not be here. I'm back with it. I'm not my normal devices, but I should be able to do this. It's a, I don't want to say simple kit, but we're making treat boxes. And if I recall, there's only 3 different designs. So we'll be doing one of each of the 3 designs. And I should be able to handle that. So I don't know what went on. Also, let me just make sure that this went all right. Because, you know, my brain is not working right today. I don't know what's going on. I can, like, my legs were all weebly. And I ate breakfast. And this is so terrible. Oftentimes I don't really eat breakfast. I'll maybe eat a snack in the middle of the morning, but I actually ate breakfast. So I'm glad that I did, because then I'm very well aware that that was nothing to do with, okay, there I am. Okay, perfect. Nothing to do with why I'm feeling the way I am. So that's helpful, but it took over me, and my legs were shaky. I came out, so I was upstairs and I came out down into the hive to photograph some cards for some of the last of the April things that we need to get together to start publishing the cover photos, and I was kind of feeling nauseous, and it took over me. I could almost not, like, speak in normal sentences, so I said to Chris I was going to go upstairs and put the stuff down and where it belonged and just lay down, because I needed it. And she came, after the end of her live, she came up and told me that she was going to be heading out for lunch, and I couldn't believe that it was 1 o'clock. Like, my body was out. So I have no clue. But I'm going to do my best, and we'll take it from there. So, thank you so much for joining us. Like I said, this is Kelly from Cards by Christine. Today we are doing the final kit class of July 2025. And that kit was the Sweet and Spooky kit. So the Sweet and Spooky kit is obviously gearing us up for Halloween, and we want to give our clients or our customers enough time to make the stuff. So that's why everything comes out a few months ahead of time. Hello, Mary. Thank you so much for joining. And when it comes to Halloween, often or typically we'll do things like treatsy boxes. I know we have done treatsy boxes for Valentine's Day as well. But that seems to be fitting to give out little Halloween candy. But I just opened the bag. Never, ever seen this before. And the embellishments in here are divine. Like, I want these embellishments. And I'll show you what they are in just a second. So, we got to crack this open. Oh, we got to show you what we're doing. Oh, yeah, and I didn't find a place for the computer. Oh, my brain is just not functioning. And I slept well last night. So I don't know what that was all. I really haven't a clue what is going on. I obviously will monitor it and make sure that if I need to go in and have some blood work done or whatnot, I will do that, because there's nothing to mess around about. Alright, so we are opening up the kit. Sweet and Spooky Kit. So in that, we have some tags. I'll go through and punch everything out in a bit. Tags and little embellishments, some banners and little embellishments. We have 3 different styles of boxes. So we have a Halloween house. It's like a haunted house. We have a black background with stars. So I would say they are fresh freesia, bubble bath, pumpkin pie, peach pie, and holographic. Now, I'll give you an update on these colors because some of these colors might not be the right colors. And we'll see where we find that. And then here, little holographic ghosties. I am a huge fan of these. And then some very happy pumpkins, bats, and stars. While we are talking about colors, on the back of the instructions, there's always a lay flat of all the pieces. And I know I didn't get through all the pieces yet, but a lay flat of all of the pieces, as well as coordinating Stampin' Up! Colors. So we've got basic black, bubble bath, fresh freesia, pumpkin pie, and iridescent. So now, of course, there are some more colors in here that aren't listed. So like I had seen this light orange star. That color is not listed, and maybe it's because it's a supplementary color or something like that. I don't exactly know. It's irrelevant. It doesn't really matter, but I'm guessing it's some sort of shade of pumpkin pie, or it is peach pie potentially, but it doesn't serve another purpose that it needed to be listed. Same with this gray, which I'm going to guess is either basic gray or something similar to it, but that wasn't listed. Again, not like a super important color. Okay, so other information on the back here. Kit components contain supplies for 1 kit. So when it's cards, typically it'll say contains supplies for 15 cards, 5 each of 3 designs, or something like that. But in this instance, it doesn't tell you anything other than it is 1 inclusive kit. But you can see on the front that we make 5 of each of the boxes. So that's how that all rolls. The instructions are very important. You don't want to lose them as you're packing things up, but the video should help. Sometimes I hear that people enjoy watching the videos so that they can kind of see it happening. And one of the reasons that I love and kind of intend to always make videos for the kits is that seeing the kit come together is almost more important than like following step 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, because there's a lot of like small little details that go into making the kit, and you cannot capture all of that in the instructions. And also, sometimes things are confusing. Very, 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 very rarely something is wrong. I've caught a little like very minor, like, oh, that was not quite supposed to be like that, but it's not that anything about it is wrong. It's just more that, sometimes you just need to see it come together and make it make sense. And then sometimes I make a mistake in following what I thought the instructions meant to say. I misunderstood what the instructions was saying. And then you get to see, hopefully, the right way if I give it another shot. Okay, So just inside the information packet, the first page gives a lay flat of the supplies per each box. What I've learned to like is dividing the contents out so that I know what pieces go with what different part of the project. So I'm going to lay out the 3 different treat boxes, and we're going to lay on them the pieces that correspond. So, I think what I'm going to do is undo what I just did. I'm going to punch everything out first, and then we'll divide them up. So, when I do kits, typically I am punching things out in a stack just to save on some time. Not entirely sure if this is going to work because this is 5. You know, when it's treat boxes, oftentimes they do more. But normally in a paper pumpkin or a card kit, we're making a maximum of anywhere between 2, 3, and very rarely 4 cards. So 5 might be a lot to punch out at once, but I think we're doing okay. I started with maybe the worst one. Yay, Mary likes to do that too. I think it just helps keep everything organized to try to lay everything out with what it belongs with. You know, sometimes the kit pieces have some very similar design elements. Like right here we've got 2 ghosts. Okay, well these 2 ghosts aren't super easy to confuse because one of them's in foil and one of them is white. But in other kits, especially like recently we just did the birthday kit, that was very hard to know which pieces went with which cards. And I had heard that people that didn't divide up their stuff ahead of time were running out of pieces or didn't quite get it to work out how it was supposed to. And so it's good to, even in the more simple of kits, or the more straightforward kits, it's good to just go ahead and divide the pieces out, get all of the kits. The other thing that I like about doing that, okay, so these ghosties have small little arms, and I don't want to break them. The other thing about that is, if you are into making all of the kit, you know, some people just make the certain card that they need or, you know, whatever. But if you're into getting the kit and making it from start to finish, if you can't sit down and devote the time or the effort to do it all at one time, you can just take the boxes or whatever you're storing the supplies in, keep the supplies all organized, and then go ahead and come back to it when you know, have time to make 5 more cards or whatever. So that's a really good way to do it as well. All right, now we are on to tags number 2. Some orange. So far we had the pages with iridescent. We had a little orange banner that said Eek. We had a black banner that had iridescent dots on it. We had a gray banner. Please bear with me. I don't know why my brain is misstrung. We had an orange banner with iridescent dots. We had a bubble bath or fresh freesia. It's actually, in my opinion, it's a lighter version of bubble bath or fresh freesia. Like, it's very light. That had a pattern of bubble bath, fresh freesia, and iridescent dots. Now we have a black tag with some stars on it. We have an orange just rectangle that has a tag hole in it. We have a fresh freesia tag with black stripes. I just punched out a bubble bath tag with a scalloped end that says trick or treat. And this one is cute. This is a little banner that says, hey boo. I like that. Then we have a pumpkin and a bat. Maybe, but I'm gonna have to divide this out, I think. And again, you know, I like to do all of this prep work ahead of time. This kit does not have any stamping, but when there's stamping involved, I typically try to do all the stamping at the beginning so that when I start getting into the assembly phase, it's just go, 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 go. So that's my method. You can do whatever you think works best for you. Okay, so now let's bring in our boxes and put all of our pieces together. So we've got haunted house, we have stars, and then we have the pastel-y one. So we're going to put the orange banner with the iridescence on, the purple and black striped tag, and the trick or treat. We also need the iridescent ghost. We need the pumpkin. And then a couple other things you'll see noted here are the orange paper clip, the embellishments, and some of the twine. Those pieces I'm not going to add, well, and then adhesives. Those pieces I'm not going to add. I will have them all together off on the side here and use them as we need them. Okay, so then for the star box, we are going with the orange tag, the black tag with the iridescence, the hey boo, and the bat. Then everything left should probably end up over here. So we've got the soft colored tag. We've got the black tags. Got the big ghosties. We have the eek. I'm trying to figure out what that is. I know the lighting is not ideal. It looks like a gold spear. Hello from Central North Carolina. Thank you so much for joining. Oh, it looks like it's like a toothpick. So I guess I'm not sure I don't necessarily see anything like a toothpick. I mean, it might be such the case that that is intended to be a toothpick and you can grab your own, but I'm not sure. It's very rare that you see something in a kit that is asked for but not provided. Now, would you say the average person probably has a toothpick? Likely. Obviously not everybody would, but, and who knows, maybe I will find something as I go through that I miss. I just double checked the box. Okay. Now that we have everything laid out, let's get started with box number 1. So I'm going to carefully move the supplies from the other 2 boxes off the screen. And then I will reposition the supplies. Oh, there they are. The picks are in the center of the roll of thread. See? Knew I'd find them. Okay, so second thing we need to do is actually assemble the box. So for that, we are going to need the tear and tape. We'll put those to the side. Put that to the side. We'll deal with all the rest of these things later. Okay. We'll take one box because that's what we're going to be doing for now. Opening it all the way. Now, there's all sorts of crease lines here. On the crease lines, we are going to be scoring, or they are scored. We're going to be creasing them and burnishing them, and then in a unique folding and taping method, we'll get them together. I was hoping to find a little more detailed instruction on how to make the box, but that is what we are here for, to figure it out together. So, grab our tear and tape. We are going to add 3 pieces of tear and tape. A short piece that goes on this tab. Now this tab, from your perspective, probably looks like a long tab, but there is a score mark in between. So we want to respect that score mark and make sure that we're not putting adhesive over that, because that will be an important bend. Then we're going to put another piece of tear and tape on the lower portion. And then finally, across the bottom. Okay, so this is like a milk jug. So I'm going to go ahead and just start burnishing on all of that one's already from being folded in half on all of the score marks that are already on the sheet. We'll go ahead and figure out the ways in which they fold later. Okay, here's the big long one. And then these folds, I think are going to be a little tougher. They're the triangle folds at the top. So I'm not sure. I'm just going to kind of finger fold them, I think. And I'll go ahead and, guessing this is going to go this way. So just going to push and fold. We want the top to go together in a V, and then the top tab is going to, wow, this is really hard to show, hold it together. So I started by pinching the top, which kind of creates that V. Actually, I don't know that I did or did not start that way, but I think that's working the best. And then as that crease starts to form, go ahead and do that. Now, this is gonna roll together like this. I can see that. I just wanna make sure I get the adhesive right for the bottom. So I think in order of operations, I'm going to go ahead, peel the tear and tape off of the side, and then close this together, trying to match up the score lines. And then I'll put my hand inside to have something to press against, to kind of give that a nice close. Then what I would do is I would flip it upside down and push down the two short flaps, and then the long flap with the adhesive, and then the long flap without the adhesive, which once I tear it off will close it. So that's how I would do that. So we'll put the two short flaps in, adhesive flap, tear off the tear and tape backing, and then make sure it's square. I would hold your box square, and then lay down the last large flap onto the adhesive. Now, I don't see any adhesive for the top, so I have a feeling we're using our paper clips for this. What I did here, because I missed an adhesive, so get in there and get the tear and tape off of the top flap. That's an easy one. Some of the creases are going the wrong way, if that makes any sense. So like when you fold an entire, like the whole top one way, once it starts getting folded, they're going to be mountain and valley folds instead of just all one, if that makes sense. So when you bring these pieces together, you just want to kind of push on some of these score lines just to make sure that they're nice and tight. But then you've got your cutesy little house. I love it incredibly much. And now we can start decorating. So we're making a trick or treat tag. And it looks like I need 15 inches of twine. So let's get that out. Keep our little wooden sticks for a different one. Okay, so my mat has a 13-inch ruler. The side of the instructions has a ruler, in metric and in English as well. But I have mine right here, so 13, 14, that's about 15. So, go ahead and cut off 15 inches. That'll be for a bow. Then we have one of each of the supplies that we put on the pile here. Okay. So, it looks like we are dabbling with dimensionals here. So we are going to want to, I'm going to bring in my either take your pick tool or your scissors or anything that has a pokey edge, and pop out the holes because we will need to string some ribbon through the holes, if I am correct here. Then for your dimensionals, it looks like on the back, I'm going to flip them all over because we are working on the back here. The dimensionals appear to be pretty strategically placed. So we're going to be putting on the back of the purple and the mid to bottom left, in the orange polka dot, we're going to be putting it centered, except for maybe a little high, left to right centered and a little higher than center. And then one on the ghost, one on the pumpkin, and then centered at the bottom of the pink tag. So now we will start to layer. So I would go ahead and flip the purple one over. I'm gonna take my tweezer. I just want to make sure that all of the pieces line up. So I'm going to kind of thread them on the tweezer. So then next is going to be the orange one. And as we drop it down, we want to make sure it's mostly centered. And then push it down. Then the pink one, same, we'll thread it on the tweezer. Okay, then we have a pumpkin. That's gonna go just above the trick or treat. Then we are going to bring in, okay, so first of all, peek that, that's amazing. Then we're going to bring in these even more amazing embellishments. They are gorgeous, holographic, iridescent stars. And we will be using 3 of them. So to accomplish that, we're going to put 1 above the pumpkin. Oh my goodness. 1 to the right of the ore. And 1, it shows the star being half on and half off of the purple and orange layer. I'm going to choose for it to be wholly on the purple layer just because I don't like when things are like jumping levels, so that would like kind of make it not exactly how I want it. Okay. Then we've got the ghost and the closure. So the ghost is going to be flying out of the window above the door, which puts him right here, which is adorable as all get up. I love it. And then we'll turn back, I would say to either of the sides. I don't think they're different. And you'll press the closure together. And I think you just take a clip and pin this on. Not quite sure. Also, I recognize that I forgot to make the bow. So we're gonna do that quickly. So we have to thread that in there. I'm going to try to match up my ends to be even. Then I'm going to start by tying it. Just so that it stays in place where I want it. 15 inches to me seems very long, and I don't know if that's because it's supposed to be wrapped around the box in any way, shape, or form. I don't think it is. So I'm just going to go ahead and make a bow out of this and not worry about having too much. So we have a bow maker, which I probably could use for something like this. I'm not sure. Hi, kitty. Also with how, like, I don't know, I don't mean to say, don't step on that, please. Oh, we almost just crashed the computer. Especially with how trembly my body has been feeling today. Not doing the best job creating this bow. But I'm not sure. I also have long fingernails, which does not, it does help, but it doesn't help. Okay, So by my understanding of what we're doing, we're just making a decorative bow. And if that's the case, then there's plenty of extra twirlies, and I'm just going to let that on. And I'm going to bring in one of these paper clippy type things. I'm going to open it a little bit with my fingernail. It's a very tight paper clip. Ooh, very tight. Then I'm going to close the top and pin this on, which I think is going to be the closure for the box. Now, we can also remember that there is a dimensional back here. So I'm going to peel the backing off now that it's in place and just stick that down. So, this is the first of our boxes. Trick or treat with the cute little ghosty. These boxes are an awesome size. And I love that you can just take the clip off and it opens up. Like, you don't need to know what you're putting in it when you're making it, because you're not actually sealing it until you put what you want in it. So that's super helpful. Okay, we are on to the black star box. Because I didn't finish all 4 of the same boxes, I'm going to carefully pack everything back up so that when I come back to it, or when I have my mom come back to it to finish them up, she knows what pieces go with what and doesn't have to reorganize it like I had to, which is fine. I'm glad that I did it, but okay. Next is the black star pack. All right, what do we think of these boxes so far? They're not too hard to put together, which I appreciate, and I think they're adorable. And the funny thing is, I'm not really into Halloween. My birthday is in October, and I have always loved fall, but when it comes right down to Halloween, it just has never been my ultimate favorite. I like more decorating for like fall than I do for Halloween. I don't know why. I really have no reason why. Okay, we're going to go ahead and punch these out again. Okay, then we're going to go back to the box. The assembly for the boxes are all going to be the same. So by the time you're done with the 15th one, you could make these boxes in your sleep. So one small strip of tear and tape and a longer strip of tear and tape. Small one's too small and the long one's too long. Go figure. And then a strip along, not the end, but the inside of the farthest right flap. Yeah, okay, so Polly, I could probably totally agree with that. I don't dislike Halloween, but I really don't like the scary stuff. And another thing I didn't burnish these yet, so that's going to be a little harder now that it's all exposed. Another thing that, so like our wedding anniversary was in October. So we went all out and did, not all out, we made all of the decorations. And so it was fun to go to Hobby Lobby and like thrift stores and find like fall themed decorations, but also that was very not scary themed things, because of course it was for a wedding. But it just, yeah, I don't know, just not my thing. But I will say, this past year, and probably forevermore, or at least probably forever, my boyfriend works at a radio station. The radio station, he's actually worked there for 30 years now, on and off. He wants to remind everyone. He did take a stint in news in Green Bay and stuff like that. But, and it's our local radio station. And back in, I don't know if it was the 60s or 70s or 80s, I'm not entirely sure when, there was a kidnapping of a young girl in Fond du Lac while she was trick-or-treating, and she unfortunately passed. And so that was like hugely traumatic for our community. And so the radio station every year does a commemorative Halloween party, because obviously, yes, that was a long time ago. People want to and maybe have forgotten about it, but the most important thing is we want to keep our kids safe. And because it happened in our community, we don't ever want to forget it. We don't ever want any other child or family to go through what this family went through. So the Halloween party, you sign up to be a participant in the Halloween party. And the objective is, Fond du Lac's trick-or-treating is always early. It's always about 3 to 5. And they call you on the radio station, and if you answer, you need to oblige that you are home from trick-or-treating. You're not out on the road anymore. It's starting to get dark, all that good stuff. And then you win a prize. And last year, I helped out with the Halloween party, and there were hundreds of prizes. And I actually got to be on the radio as one of the characters. I was Winnie the Pooh. And it was so cool to be a part of that long-standing community event. I mean, it's been going on for a long time. I don't even know. So that was awesome. So that is one thing that I got into that was Halloween-esque. And I remember doing it when I was a kid, calling into the radio station or registering, and I feel like I even won a prize way back when. So that was cool. But yeah, other than that, I'm not so huge into Halloween. Okay. Back to decorating. Okay, so I flipped everything over. I'm going to place my dimensionals. We've got a dimensional kind of leftish in the middle of the banner. Definitely leftish on the orange piece. And then these are very obscuredly placed. And then bottom left center-ish of the other banner piece. Okay. We also need a dimensional cut in half. For the back of the bat's head. Although I'm using mini dimensionals, so this one might fit. We'll see. Beautiful. All right, now we're gonna layer it up. So the first piece is the orange piece. I'm not gonna take the dimensional off of that until we have it on the bag. The next piece is the black piece. Get that on. Make sure it's where we want it. Hey Boo is next. Then we've got the bat. Bat is going to nest. The wings of the bat kind of hug the final O. Then we've got the world's most gorgeous embellishments. Going to put one above the first O in Boo. One off to the bottom left of the B in Boo. And one beneath the bat. On the right side. We need 15 more inches. Twine. Sorry, I forget that little bit of my glass mat. I like to assume, or not assume, but like have it together that the glass mat is where my crafting can happen. Sometimes I forget that this small smidgen down here, I don't get to see all of it. Okay, we are going to feed this in, make a bow, and then pin it on the top again. So again, I like to start with tying them together. Wow, I cannot believe how backwardsly I did that. I think that worked out better. Bow doesn't need to be perfect. Okay, again, it did help a bunch to open up that. This time I'm going to take the dimensional back off. And then hang it down. How cute is that? And I'm telling you, the gold foil in person, or not gold, the iridescent foil in person is divine. Not to mention the embellishments are amazing. Okay, last but certainly not least, we have our purple box. So let's move all the supplies out of the way. One second. Okay, I need one of these. Right, I forgot to fold this the last time, so we're gonna do that. These boxes are very simple to create. So the thing I love about when we do Valentine's or Halloween is I think they're definitely made to be given as gifts in any way, shape, or form, but they're great for kiddos to give as their classroom gift. So when something is designed a little more simply, you know, this has all the score lines, the cutting, and all that stuff. I think it's great to be able to make this with your kiddo so that they can have some autonomy in giving them. Is that always the case? Absolutely not, but just a thought. Okay, so let's start by closing up the box. So the small flaps go down. Second, we have tear and tape, which can get peeled off. And third, we have the closure of the box. Then at the top, we can pinch in on the two sides that have the scoring. That kind of takes care of the fold all by itself, which is nice. Okay, so that's done. Now we need to build the tag. Purpley, black, ghost. Do some punching. This dot is off to the side. This one is in the middle. Okay. On the back of the purple one, we have a dimensional in the bottom left corner. We have a middle left dimensional and then a dimensional in the head of the ghosty guy. I am using mini dimensionals. The kit comes with regular dimensionals, so I will put a second one on there. So to layer this one up, we've got the pinkish one. That one's hanging off to the right. You'll see why. And we have the black one, and if we align the holes, they're kind of offset. Okay. Then we've got the bat. The bat is going to go, I think that came off. kind of flying out of the orange star, which takes it off of the panel. And I think we only have one star on this one, which is totally fine because we've got so many other iridescent facets in the rest of the box. Okay, then we have our little toothpicky thing and our eek, which has a score, so we'll fold that over. Now we're putting a piece of tear and tape in here. Short, tiny tear and tape. It looks like there's one on each side of the flap. So why not? Go for it. Get that stick in there. The stick is thick, not in a bad way, but it kind of makes it like you have to roll the flag around it, the pennant around it. So just make sure, however you do it, that you end up getting it stuck. Oh, and then there's also a glue dot on the back here, kind of in the middle. That's gonna hang out from the ghostie's hand. So I feel like I put my dimensional in a not very great place, so I need to move that in a little. Now I shouldn't struggle as much. So I moved it into here more, which is not exactly maybe how it looks like on the instructions, or maybe it is and I just misread it. So let's try that again. Look at that. Got our mandatory 15 inches. We'll do another bow. These are incredibly cute, Polly. So many great uses. Like I said, the boxes are a wonderful size. So you could put like a cupcake in them or something that has a little more substance to it. But if you don't want something larger, you could always put some tissue paper in it, and then it still is a functional box. So then we're gonna go ahead and bring our box back in, put this on the top, and pin that on. And then we'll take the dimensional that I keep forgetting. See, not as... So this dimensional is right down here, which to me curves this all. I don't know if you can see that, but like it pins it back compared to it naturally wants to hold out. Oh, it goes at a diagonal. Does that help? It could go at... I guess I feel like that dimensional's a little too low. I'd rather it stick to the top where it is at a diagonal. I'm gonna have a little bit of a messy back here. So whether or not you want yours at a diagonal is up to you, but I just moved the dimensional up some so that it doesn't like interfere with all of that. So, voila, lo and behold, we did it. Sorry, absolute sorrow for all of the ways in which I messed up. I can tell my brain still is not functioning quite right, but I do feel a lot better than I did earlier. So we'll call that a positive. Okay, I'm gonna pick up my stuff so that I can bring the boxes back into play. And if you want, let me know. Here, we'll go like this so that they're separated. Let me know which one you like the best. I don't even know that I could choose. They're so cute. And each one has a different element that I think is awesome. Like the haunted house box. I love that it looks like a haunted house. I think that's brilliant. And the thing that I think is extra cute about it is the fact that the ghost is flying out of the window, which is over here. Love the color on this and the like atypical feel of it. I also really like the tag. And I mean, that one might be my least favorite, but there's really no reason for it. It's still cute. So there you go. I don't have an answer for you. But I love the kit. It is beautiful. It's just in time as we're starting to think of getting back to school. You can order one, get one. You'll have it in August, but you can hold on to it and wait until October 30th to put it together. No one's gonna judge you. But yeah, you got plenty of time to get it and put it together for whatever Halloween needs you have. I have also seen some alternatives where people use the contents to make cards, because the supplies are beautiful, but maybe you just don't participate in giving out candy at Halloween. So there is stuff like that out there too, if that is something that interests you. So thank you so much for joining. I hope you have a wonderful day. Thank you for bearing with me and also with the changing in the time. And we look forward to crafting with you again. I was supposed to be talking to you, but my bad. So sending lots of sunshine, love, and big hugs your way.